This video is for the person who really cares about the muscle growth progress they're making from the gym. For the person who tries to be consistent with their training and nutrition, and who really gets after it in their workout sessions. And the person who, because they really care about it, finds themselves feeling stressed or even anxious when they experience things like a bad workout or a bad set even, when they run across nagging pains, when they have to cut a workout short for some reason, or perhaps when they have to make some kind of change to their overall fitness routine because of some other life circumstance, like family or career responsibilities, or perhaps something like travel. By default, I fall into this category myself and know that from really caring about my own progress and fixating on optimizing my workouts, my nutrition approach, and my overall fitness routine, it does come with some major benefits, but it also comes with some pretty big negatives too. A big positive being, because I'm so fixated on making progress, I do make a good deal of progress. A big negative, however, is I'm prone to experiencing a lot of unnecessary stress and anxiety when things don't exactly go my way. Like if I have a bad workout or even just a bad set, that stress and anxiety sucks. It's not helpful and it has the potential to take away from potential gains. And I know I'm not the only one that experiences it. So in this video, while showing you footage from my latest full body gym workout, I thought I would share with you what I've been doing and what I'm doing now to successfully alleviate much of the unnecessary stress and anxiety that I've experienced in the past, in hopes that if you experience it now yourself, perhaps because you have a similar personality as me, it might be helpful for you to alleviate some of those things as well. Before we get started, if you find this video to be helpful, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Okay, let's dive in. Son, you ain't saving lives. Before I became a fitness professional and began competing as a natural bodybuilder, I went to university for classical music. Orchestral performance and bass trombone, to be specific. I got pretty good. I became quite proficient at playing the instrument and was, I think, not a horrible musician. Unsurprisingly, my approach to practicing and improving at the bass trombone was not so different than my approach when it came to developing my physique. I cared a lot about getting better and put a lot of pressure on myself to improve daily, practicing as many hours a day as I could get away with. There's no doubt that I put in the hours. In retrospect, however, those hours were not always spent practicing nearly as efficiently as they could have been. In fact, many of them were spent pedantically and flat out inefficiently. When I practiced, I was often uptight and rigid, hyperfixating on the parts of my playing that I perceived as being inadequate. Now, don't get me wrong here. In order to get better, it is necessary to identify your inadequacies so that you can improve upon them. But I kind of took that too far. I would really fixate on them, to the point of it negatively impeding on not just my productivity levels in the practice room, but also on my quality of life, if I'm really being honest. I was often what could be considered a walking ball of unnecessary stress and anxiety. As a music performance major, all throughout my undergraduate degree and post-undergraduate artist diploma, I had a private one-on-one music teacher. During my undergrad, my one-on-one teacher was Peter McClellan, the principal tubist of the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra. And man, could he ever play. I felt lucky to have him as my teacher too, since he was someone that all of the brass and wind students at my university looked up to and respected highly. I learned a ton from him, much of which I've actually carried over with me now since pursuing my fitness career outside of music. One of the things he used to say to me during my lessons was this: "Son, you're playing the bass trombone. You ain't saving lives. See, the stress I put on myself when playing the instrument really could be heard in my playing. It was obvious. The notes were there, but behind them was what could be heard as stress, and it was holding me back. It really was like I was weighing playing the bass trombone similarly to, as Peter noted, saving lives. Although he said it to me many times, it didn't fully sink in for me for the remainder of my time studying and practicing music. I continued to put tons of unnecessary stress on myself right until I finished my 7th year of studies. But what he said to me did stick in my head. Son, you ain't saving lives. As I changed career paths and pursued fitness, I took my disposition of putting tons of pressure on myself to make progress along with me. Now, I had already been lifting weights for at least 10 years up to this point behind the scenes while in music school and was already a bit of a pedantic lifter. But there were times where it became more extreme when I fully transitioned to pursuing it as my primary career. When I had sets that felt off, workouts that didn't feel very effective, where I struggled to feel a good mind-muscle connection, when I would start to feel nagging pains, and so on, it would really weigh down on me. Sure, some amount of disappointment from having something like a bad workout is what I would consider to be normal. But man, that disappointment would hit 10 times harder than was what I now believe is necessary. Again, having this kind of personality sure as heck has its advantages too. I did really get after my training sessions and aim to optimize my routine to maximize my progress. There are parts of that have truly helped me to make progress. But at the end of the day, the unnecessary stress, it held me back. If I had a bad set, I would often try to make up for it by adding more sets. Sounds logical, right? Well, not when those extra sets led to unnecessary fatigue building up to the point of causing more harm than good. Plus, the amount of stress outside of the gym and sleep I would lose because of it probably didn't do great things for my gains either. See, again, I really cared about my progress. And it's good to really care about it. But the problem was that it was, and I think this is the best word to describe it, disordered in how I prioritized it. The word disorder is one that I think I need to be sensitive about using, so I'm going to explain. When I say disorder, I say it not in the way I think most people initially hear something like eating disorder, but rather as what it literally means in isolation. Disorder as in not properly ordered, out of order. With my physique goals and gym progress, it was what I considered to be the utmost central pillar of my life, the most important thing. I chased it to find meaning and fulfillment, to fill the empty void inside of me, which at one point, pursuing music was meant to meet the same end, and it was something I attached my identity to. I basically was my physique goals. I was my lifting performance. So naturally, doing well at it or not stressed me the heck out. It made me feel anxious. If I had bad workouts, I'd feel incredibly disappointed. And again, some amount of disappointment is warranted, and caring about my progress in itself wasn't a bad thing at all. It was the disordered way that I cared about it. It was that it was everything for me. Okay, so fast forward, and here I am now, and things are a lot better for me in that regard. Like, a lot. I do still really care about my progress and physique goals, or more specifically, my natural bodybuilding goals, but I don't feel bogged down with the same kind of stress and anxiety as I did before. Why? Well, because I finally figured out that my physique goals ought not to be the absolute center of my life. Those goals are still important, but they aren't at the very center. And as such, I've been able to experience some major reprieve and have a significantly improved quality of life because of it. Not to mention, my performance has actually gone up. What I really want to share with you, if you struggle with putting the same kind of stress on yourself as I did, and if you've tied your identity to your fitness goals as well, that the secret might be to first seriously assess if fitness should be right at the very center of your life or not. And my guess is that it probably shouldn't. And second, figure out what might be more prudent to actually hold at the center of your life. See, for me now, I think I've really figured it out. I won't try to preach on what that answer is, since I don't consider myself an authority on the topic, but will say that most people seem to have a God-shaped hole inside of them, if that gives any kind of a hint. I've experienced that having something more prudent to hold at the center of my life has taken off much of the unnecessary stress and anxiety from what used to come from my physique goal progress, from my physique goals being at the center. My physique goals are still very important, but they just aren't everything. And because of that, I have some major reprieve. Fitness is no longer out of order in priority. I'm not weighing it like I did with my bass trombone playing, as if it was close to or the equivalent of saving lives. And there you have it. Really caring about your gym and physique progress is good, but not when you put so much weight on it that it starts to become overly anxiety and stress-inducing. From my experience as someone who's undergone a lot of that unnecessary stress and anxiety, it came from viewing my fitness goals or my physique goals similar to previously viewing my music goals with a kind of disordered lens. I held those goals to the very center of my life. I tied them to my identity. So naturally, when things wouldn't go my way, I would stress right the heck out. The solution has been to put my goals in their proper order, to get them out of the center of my life, and to instead set the most prudent and truly most important thing in the center of my life instead. At this point, I'd love to know your feedback. Did any of this resonate with you? Did you find any of it helpful? Please let me know your thoughts, comments, and insights in the comment section below. Before this video comes to a close, I want to quickly let you know about the work that I do. When I'm not making YouTube videos or Instagram content, I work full-time as an online physique coach, where I help my clients to accomplish their muscle growth and fat loss goals by optimizing their approach to strength training and nutrition, and I coach them through the process. I've been doing this work for over 7 years and love helping my clients to not only transform their bodies, but ultimately their lives. If you've been considering getting some help with accomplishing your own physique goals, feel free to hit the link in the description below, where you can learn a little bit more about the work that I do and how I can help you. If you have any questions about my coaching or how I can help you, just email me at sam@jadeathletics.ca. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.